Shit. Skytzo, this shit crazy, man. Kinda fast. I can do anything, man. Can't stop a nigga like me, man. Shit. Pay homage, bitch. Yeah. Shit. What you niggas know about a nigga like me? A nigga like me on 10, no sleep. A nigga like me thinking shit don't stink. Don't care what other niggas do, I'm tryna do me. Oh yes, that'll be ZOD. A nigga like me, bad for the ego. Better than me, you niggas lying like a Leo. Prince don't throw these other niggas like Dino. Shit, I spit it slow by a nigga like Nino. Won't be long till I tell my niggas that we all see on. A nigga like me don't quit. A nigga like me might take your bitch. A nigga like me, good as it gets. Not gon' find too many niggas like this. Looking at a nigga that's on the top of his shit. Nigga that made it, put me on the top of that list. A nigga like me, he running things. A nigga like me, don't play the game. A nigga like me, do a couple things. A nigga like me, don't fuck with lanes. A nigga like me, he running things. A nigga like me, don't play them games. A nigga like me, do a couple things. A nigga like me, don't fuck with lanes. Say a nigga like me, say nigga too much. A nigga like me don't really give a fuck. Nigga what? Nigga who? Oh yes, another nigga with an attitude. Ergonomic, I can show these other niggas how to move. A nigga like me won't lose. Clark Kent, phone booth, I'm fly. Told you, niggas on the man out here. See a nigga like me, man, you best stand clear. Niggas like me don't like niggas like you. Niggas like you, bums lazy. Niggas like me work crazy. Niggas like me, man, we hustle daily. Nigga like me say fuck you, pay me. President ZOD, homage, pay it. A nigga like me, he running things. A nigga like me, don't play them games. A nigga like me, do a couple things. A nigga like me, don't fuck with lanes. A nigga like me, he running things. A nigga like me, don't play them games. A nigga like me, do a couple things. A nigga like me, don't fuck with lanes. A nigga like me might take your job. A nigga like me don't gotta steal no rob. A nigga like me don't gotta slang no rocks. But a nigga like David with a fucking slingshot. Taking out a giant like nigga, I'm ZOD. A nigga got hurt plus smart as a whip. Niggas like you need to read a little bit. Take smart, yeah, I keep a heater on the head. In case one of you silly niggas wanna trip, nigga. I don't think you know who you're dealing with, ZOD. Yeah, heard the niggas feeling quick, thinking they the shit. Leave them niggas feeling shitty there. You don't want a problem with a nigga like me. A nigga like me got wings, I'm a sword. A nigga like me stay ready for the war. I be going in like I said, never on the door. A nigga like me, he running things. A nigga like me, don't play the game. A nigga like me, do a couple things. A nigga like me, don't fuck with lanes. A nigga like me, he running things. A nigga like me, don't play them games. A nigga like me, do a couple things. A nigga like me, don't fuck with lanes. A nigga like me, a nigga like me, don't play them games. A nigga like me, a nigga like me, don't fuck with lanes. A nigga like me, a nigga like me, don't play them games. A nigga like me, a nigga like me, don't fuck with lames. Pay homage.